welcome back. If this is your first time, I hope you will stay. Espero que te quedes. Now, I know this week and next week is going to be a little bit hectic for most. And so this is why I've decided that today I'm going to work on this. That's also a request from someone who's doing A-level Spanish. Okay, and so it's just looking at tips to get through the listening summary that you get on the A-level Spanish paper, on paper 1. And so I'm just going to go over some tips that will help you get through the listening summary, which is a short passage, about 2.5 minutes, that listening, roughly, or at least the listening that I'm going to go through with you today. Now, that listening, I'm going to leave a link down below in the description box. And I'm also going to leave another link for the whole exam. And I do recommend that you do it as a mock and get your teacher to correct it if it's possible. And if that's not possible, try your language assistant, if your school has one. I'm sure he or she will be more than happy to go through it with you, as I don't think I'll have the manpower to go through it with you this week. I've got to work. Okay, so that being said, we're going to go through some of the things that you should be doing and some of the things that you should make sure you do not do. Okay, are you ready? So after I do that, I will go over an example, the example that is actually on the paper that I'm posting down below, so you can have a little look more or less how I did it and what's expected more or less from you. Okay? Okay, let's begin. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is repeat the audio. We won't get it all after just one listening. So repeat it, and as you're listening to it, make sure you are writing down your essential verbs. So words that are going to give you the best foundation to then write sentences about what the question is. You have 3 bullet points. So make sure the essential words that you put down are related. Okay, so the nouns could be verbs, or expressions. Okay, so make a note of those important verbs. Listen out for them, jot them down. Okay, you are expected to do your own words, to use your own words, so you're not just going to copy what you say, what you hear. So that's essential as well. You're also going to be, you need to be confident when you're manipulating the language. And what they mean by manipulating the language, what you hear, you should be able to turn it around so you're talking objectively. So, for instance, if you hear a verb being used, you can use it, but changing it around either to the correct subject or to mean the same meaning, but not using the exact same word, basically. Okay, I don't know if I've confused you more with that. Okay, and tense recognition. Now, it is essential that you know how to recognize the different tenses, and in doing that, you'll be able to then switch and manipulate the tense, the verbs accordingly. You need to recognize when you hear it and also know how to change it. Okay? It's really important that you learn verbos de cambio. What are verbos de cambio? Changing verbs, verbs of change. These verbs normally tell you that, tells you about a physical transformation that's occurred, or could be a mood or state. The most popular ones that you will need to know at this level are hacerse, ponerse, quedarse, or convertirse. Okay? So to make, to get, to become, and so on. Okay? So with the verb ponerse, you would probably talk about it in this sense, talk about getting sick or you got sick. Se puso nervioso. He got nervous. O se puso enfermo. He got sick. Got sick or got nervous. With volverse, it's more become. Se volvió un poco tacaño. Okay? Se ha vuelto muy tacaño. Okay? He's become a bit stingy. Tacaño is a nice word for stingy. Okay? O se volvió insoportable. He got unbearable. He became unbearable. Insoportable. Okay? Quedar is a nice one, and you will see this a lot. Quedarse is normally used when you've been physically transformed, and it's normally negative. So te puedes quedar ciego, blind, you were left blind, or you were left deaf, sordo, sorda, or muda, unable to speak, mute. Okay, so se quedó, accent, se quedó ciega. She was left blind. O convertirse, se ha convertido en una gran persona. Yeah, he became a great person. So to become someone. These verbs, you will need to be comfortably using them because you will see them a lot, and it shows transformation. You will also need to know how to manipulate them to change them from one person to another. Okay? Me puse, se puso, te pusiste. Okay? So the E's. This is based on AQA A-level Spanish. And when I was reading through the notes, it mentioned that the pupils, the students who were most successful were the pupils who knew how to manipulate verbs, and they were comfortable changing tenses from subject to subject. So make sure that that's something you're practicing, okay? Right, connectives. Now connectives, words that connect, aunque, y, porque, pero, these kind of words, that they're going to help your sentences flow a little bit better, and gives that idea of a higher level as well. Okay, so don't forget your connectives. Though they do allow minor mistakes, I make those minor mistakes too, don't tell them. Okay, so an accent, if you've got an accent, that's a minor mistake. They won't penalize you that much. Or if you spell a word incorrectly as well, that's considered a minor error. But the big mistakes they're looking for is if you're conjugating in the wrong tense, or you don't know how to use the verbs correctly, or your possessive adjectives and pronouns are all mixed up. So you need to make sure that possessive adjectives and pronouns, that you have a revision of that. Tu casa, if there's more than one, tus casas, his or her, su cama, his bed, her bed, if it was plural, sus camas, things like that. Nuestra cara, nuestra casa, in plural, nuestras or nuestros, okay? So knowing how to make that agreement go together as well. And last but not least, the verb ser and estar, which is fundamental. Okay, you need to know how to differentiate between ser and estar, and when to use ser and estar. It's down there, and you need to make sure that you are using them correctly and that you are secure. Okay, so you're gonna get through this. I promise you, you're gonna get through this. Right, so the things that we're not going to be doing, we're not allowed to lift information, so copy inappropriately. You can't take a chunk of what you heard and just write it down in your summary. They won't have that, okay? The incorrect form of verb will get, not might, you will definitely get penalized for that. So we're going to make sure that that does not happen. Incorrect use of pronouns will also get you in a bit of trouble. Ser and estar, as I said, you need to know it over there, so don't omit that. Saying something like soy 17 instead of tengo 17, that will get you in a bit of hot water. Or es muy calor, which is a very word-to-word translation. instead of hace mucho calor. Okay? And try to avoid irrelevant information, because you might think 90 words is a lot, but as I will demonstrate later, it goes like this. It goes really quickly. Now, another point that you need to make sure that you're doing is not going way over 90 words. Now, this is 90 words, and you have 3 bullet points. So I would say 30, 30, and 30, which is what I've done in the first, the 2 points that I've covered. Okay? And 30 words will go like that. Okay? So make sure that you're not putting information in empty words, or you're not putting irrelevant stuff in. Okay? Right. When you're writing down your summary, you listen to the text. If the person is talking in first person, yo suelo ir, you're not going to write it in your form, in the I form, you're going to write it in the he or she form. So you would write él suele ir in the he or she form. Or we, if we're talking nosotros, mi familia y nosotros nos fuimos, you would say they, ellos se fueron. Okay, so that's important. He or she as well. Okay, they. So be careful of these changes. So quiero, you cannot see this today, I'm too close. Quiero ayudar a los pobres would be quiere ayudar a los pobres. Quiere. So you have to learn to change the verbs around accordingly. Okay? And so now we're going to look at the tests that I've posted down below. Okay? So I'm going to leave the picture up here for a little bit. And so the question, I've got the question on my phone. It says, note, una familia catalana acoge a un refugiado sirio. Tariq. Okay? And so it says 90 words, and you ought to include the following points. So number 1 was the reasons why Marissa and her family decided to join the organization, the charity organization. Las razones por las que María y su familia decidieron apuntarse a la ONG. 2 detalles. So this is one thing that you need to make sure you're doing. How many points are they asking for? And make sure you do put the amount of points so you don't get lost. Okay? So they've asked for 3 points here. And the first one, the first point was 2 points. Okay, so what reason? So I started with, she's talking in the second person plural. No. Okay. She's talking about herself, so her family and her. So I've changed it to ellos tomaron la decisión. Okay? They took the decision. They made the decision. In the text, it was decidieron. But since you have to use your own words, I've put they made the decision. They made the decision instead of decidieron. So I changed that around a little bit. Ellos tomaron la decisión fácil, because she mentioned it was an easy decision, de apuntarse a la organización. Instead of saying ONG again, I just put organization, just to change it up a little bit. Porque se quedaron impactados al ver las imágenes de familia escapando de la guerra en Siria. Ellos pensaron que podrían ayudar a estas personas. Now, underline the verbs that I've changed and how I've manipulated the tenses, how I've manipulated the language. Okay? Instead of, I changed this verb, I think they use impactar as a verb, and I've used, they were left affected instead. So have a little look, have a read through the text, the photo, and listen to the passage, and I'd be interested to see how you worded it. Okay? So these are the changes I made, and believe it or not, I found it really hard to stay within that margin. But as long as you answer the question, it should take up about 30 words-ish. You won't find it too long. Just make sure your points are covered and you're answering exactly what they asked. Okay? For the next bullet point, they asked for three reasons why he left his country, why he came to Spain. And when I was jotting down the information, I put, quickly, I told you about taking notes, I put, perdió tres primos, herido, he was hurt, and his cousin le ofreció un trabajo en un restaurante. So his cousin offered him a job in a restaurant. So those, and help, because he said he needed help. So these are the points that I jotted down. And then when it came to writing, I just filled them in. I filled them in to make full sentences, because you have to make full sentences. Okay? So, él vino a España en busca de ayuda. So he came to Spain looking for help. I've already used that one up. Okay? ¿Por qué? So a linking word. Because. Connecting words. Okay? And you need connectives. ¿Por qué perdió tres miembros? Okay. So, oh, sorry, I forgot. I'm always getting my accent, and I said you lose points, but not. Perhaps they'll forgive small things like that, or ofreció as well. Okay, so we have to be careful with our accents as well. Okay, so start again. So those are the points that I made. He lost 3 cousins, hurt, ofreció trabajo, I got that. And so when I started writing, you had to make full sentences, so I started. Él vino a España en busca de ayuda. He came looking for help porque perdió, accent, perdió 3 miembros de su familia, sus primos. Y él mismo estaba herido, and he himself was hurt. Another connecting word. Fortunately, afortunadamente, that's a connecting word. Afortunadamente, le ofreció un trabajo en un restaurante. Okay, so afortunadamente le ofreció un trabajo en un restaurante. So his cousin offered him a job. You could add su primo le ofreció un trabajo en un restaurante. Okay, you could add that. And up here, I've got 30. Now, I didn't count these, but let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So, without saying much, you've used up all your words. So I haven't gone over for these 2 points. And so for the third bullet point that I don't really have time to cover today, it would be pretty much the same, which is the interviewer asking the girl why they made the decision to take in a refugee. And again, that's going to be a task for you. Jot down the points and then, somebody just came in, jot down the points, the important vocab, and then write the sentences from that. It's not as difficult as it sounds. Okay? Let me know how you get on, and from the bottom of my heart, I really, really wish you all the luck on your exams this week and this coming month. This coming month. Well, the rest of the exam period, really. Good luck, and just do your best. Just do your best. That's all you can do. So this is it. A-level Spanish summary tips. I hope you've got something useful out of it. And with that, I'm going to leave you. Adios.